What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel Most Handsome Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and pocket poppy, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, man? Here we are at the looking back on another year, another Summer Game Fest come and gone.
Wild, right?
Unbelievable.
Crazy. Yeah, it's sprung upon us a lot sooner than I anticipated. I love that our conversations beforehand was basically like, oh shoot, Adrian, are you free this weekend to do stuff? It's here. Yeah, did not see it coming.
It's tomorrow, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, didn't see it coming, and now it's gone. It came and went so fast, but we got lots to talk about. I'm excited. Yeah. If you are interested in seeing our actual reactions, let's right off the top here, we can just say go to our YouTube channel. We have, and over on Twitch as well. All the VODs are there and available. Nothing has been blocked or claimed yet. I feel like that's always a thing with these. Actually, I take that back. I've gotten one email about the Xbox showcase that you did. With so when we did,
was it the Gears part where they did the Mad World?
No, actually, I don't even know if I've gotten claimed for that. No, what it was is it was actually music you were playing on the stream afterwards, but
the weight room music.
Yeah, the waiting room music. But here's what's really funny is because it's not like it's one thing to get like a claim and like, okay, whatever, shrug it off. But not only did we get a claim, but then separately through email, I got an email from the people who claimed us. And the reason why is because the music is owned by the same company that I use to do the soundtrack for Super Dungeon Boys. So all of the sound effects and the soundtrack for Super Dungeon Boys was through Epidemic Sound. And so Epidemic Sound was like, hey, you use some of our music and you used to have an account with us and all that stuff is protected, but anything you've used since you've canceled your subscription isn't covered. So we are going to claim this unless you pay for a new subscription. All this stuff.
Got it.
And I just laughed because I'm like, I thought it was a trailer, like a game trailer or something. And then I went and clicked on it. I'm like, oh no, is this music Adrian was playing? It's not a big deal, obviously, because a claim is claims don't. Basically, it just means we can't monetize it. Not a big deal. But
like we were gonna do that anyway.
Yeah, but I just thought it was funny too because I'm like, it's one thing to get the notification on YouTube, but then to get like a separate email from Epidemic Sound being like, hey, so because they know us, because I've used them before, they're like, hey guys, not cool. It's like, it's fine, whatever, just ignore it.
Not cool. They act like we were gonna make thousands of dollars off of it.
I mean, you never know. We broke 400.
I mean, in the future,
we broke 400.
In the future.
I mean, that one's got 21 views on it. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. So go check out our reaction streams if you want to see. If you missed the streams themselves and you're like, okay, you guys are talking about these things that got announced and I don't know what you're talking about, then, well, go watch those, please, over at Super Gamer Boys, youtube.com/Super Gamer Boys. You can watch them all there. Let's just do some quick housekeeping because here's the deal. This is going to be a very unofficial. This is a late episode. For those of you who
freeform.
For those who don't normally listen to this podcast, normally record on Mondays and comes out on Wednesdays. We're recording this on Wednesday because I was gone most of the weekend for an anniversary trip. 10 years, by the way. Crazy, right?
Congrats.
Absolutely insane. So I wasn't available Monday to record, but at that point, events were still kind of happening. So now we're like, all right, events are all done. We've had time to digest everything. Wednesday night, let's talk about this. And then this is going to go live to everyone kind of as soon as possible. You know, that's the idea. There's not going to be as much of the Patreon exclusivity window as normal, but these are extraordinary circumstances. But anyways, a little housekeeping. Today we're talking about Summer Game Fest, Day of the Devs, Devolver Direct, Wholesome Direct, Xbox Game Showcase, and more. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, and Carrie. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, you should head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, support us over there. Starting at just $1 a month. $1, it gets episodes early and ad-free, typically, as well as Patreon exclusive content like Super Later Boys and Super Gamer Book Club, some of those earlier seasons. So be sure to check that out. We may or may not talk about that later on the show. I don't know. We'll see if we do an ad. If I remember to do an ad segment. I don't have show notes because this is like more free form hanging out. So probably not.
You're doing good. Keep it going.
Check out the Patreon. And without further ado, shout out to Jack Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show today. We're listening to some jams from DJ Trooz. So go check them out over on Apple Music and Spotify. We got some good stuff. All right. Now it's time for the show. It's not nerdy news, not mailbag. This is just...
That's right. GamerBot has the night off for once.
Yeah, Adrian and Garrett are just going to talk about Summer Game Fest. That's the name of this segment. So let's start with the one that came first, right? Summer Game Fest.
Let's do it.
That happened on Friday, correct?
Summer Game Fest, more like Summer Snooze Fest. Am I right?
Yeah,
am I right?
You are, unfortunately, spot on with that. I guess we can give our thoughts overall, and then we can talk about if there was anything that we were excited for, talk about it. But yeah, I kind of felt the same way after the 2-hour show. And I was like, wow, there was a whole lot of nothing there.
Nothing.
A lot of commercials that just felt weird because it'd be like,
well, it's a Jeff Keighley event. There's going to be a lot of commercials.
Yeah, I guess so. But I just felt like nothing, it wasn't split up very well. So it'd be like, all right, get ready for this world premiere, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, like, it would, there was actually one time, and they kind of reference it briefly, where they made a mistake. They said they were going to like a world premiere, and then it went to a commercial. I'm like,
commercial? I remember that.
We've seen this before, heard about this. And then later it like went back, and they're like, let's look at that world premiere for real this time. I'm like, what? Like, what is happening over there? So even like on a production quality,
you know how mad I would have been if I paid $350,000 and my world premiere was messed up with a commercial. Right. I'm never coming to Summer Game Fest again. Absolutely not.
I'm surprised because like they have things usually pretty buttoned down. At least they put on this facade. Like there's mistakes at every show. Like, I mean, Game Awards has people running up on stage, and Summer Game Fest in the past has had issues, but you just think by now it's been quite a few years they'd have things pretty figured out, but there's still like some glaring issues that none of the other conferences seem to have. Granted, all the other conferences are all pre-recorded, where Jeff Keighley is adamant about having everything live. And it's like,
right.
All right, well,
I mean, when you add that human element, you're going to have space for human error. So
yeah. But yeah, it was tough to get through. It tough to be the one live reacting to that. You had work that day, so I was in charge of those three conferences that day: Summer Game Fest, Day of the Devs, and Devolver Direct. And I'm like,
well, at least the other two were actually awesome.
Me. And then, yeah, fortunately, it got to Day of the Devs, and immediately it was like, okay,
thank God,
this is great. Summer Game Fest 2024, though. Was there anything announced that kind of struck your fancy at all? Like looking at the list, we have most of the list we have here just from IGN, everything announced. I was excited to see Star Wars Outlaws,
which I hear is actually really good. I've heard people coming out talking about they played it at the Summer Game Fest event.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and they're saying it's really good, so that's getting me hyped for it because it already looked interesting enough.
Yep.
And now to hear people go, I played a demo, it actually rules, get ready for it. So now I'm hyped.
That's exciting. That is exciting. I didn't realize that. They showed a teaser trailer that showed a little more gameplay, and I'm just like, okay, this is cool. This is good. Like, so far, so good. Like, I have no reason to not be happy with this, but it is Ubisoft. So at any moment, that rug could be pulled.
Right. I mean, August 30th, the new Street Fighter DLC with the Fatal Fury characters. That looks awesome as a Street Fighter fan, and also as an ancillary Fatal Fury fan, because I played Capcom versus SNK back on the PS2 GameCube era. So SNK is like a competitor, right? They make Fatal Fury, which is like a Street Fighter competitor.
Okay.
And they had a lot of people only know Marvel versus Capcom, but Capcom actually has done a lot of versus games with their characters.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that was pretty sick seeing them come over.
When that popped up there, I'm like, I'm the worst person to be watching this right now, because this is probably really exciting for some people, but for me, I have no idea what's happening. I'm like, this is whatever. But I think I even started getting excited too, because I'm like, because I remember you kind of predicting like, oh man, if they do like a Marvel versus Capcom, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm like, and at first I'm like, wait a second, like, I don't know the Marvel characters.
We all thought that.
I don't know the Marvel characters that great, but I'm like, this could be someone, and then like, and then it showed like the Street Fighter 6 logo. I'm like, no, this isn't anything. I don't know what this is.
I'm like, it's not Marvel versus Capcom, but it's still pretty sick. Okay. So I was okay with it.
That's awesome. That's good.
What about you?
This is a struggle. Okay. The Blumhouse Games announcement. That was pretty exciting.
Which one? That was the
so Blumhouse
Descendant, something like. No,
so they showed multiple games. They showed Eyes Out, Half Mermaid, Cozy Game Pals, Perfect Garbage, Play Me Studio, and these are the names of the team. Sorry, that's not the name of the games. The name of the games are Fear the Spotlight, Grave Seasons, Sleep Awake, Crystal Theater of Idols, and then I think there was there wasn't a lot. There was only like 4 or 5 that they showed off. But one of them had like PS1 style graphics, and I was like, I am all about this.
I'm a sucker for those. They know what they're doing.
Like super creepy looking. I'm like, yep, I'm all in. And then there's another one that looks amazing, and I wish I could find the name of it, but I can't. But it looked like a farming simulator kind of game. Like it reminded me of like a Stardew Valley, and I think they even use that to describe it. Like it's Stardew Valley with a murder mystery, like. So like you start, there's this corpse, this bloody like gory corpse. I found it out in your garden, and you're in the middle of your field or something. And I'm like, okay, I'm all about this. So it's like if Stardew Valley was rated M with
whodunit with
a murder mystery. I'm like, I'm all about this. It even had like kind of like a more like, the graphic style was very like charming looking at the first sight, and then all of a sudden when it started, then it's just like. Violence, blood, gore. It's like, trying to solve this mystery and like finding the bodies.
People are dying.
There's a serial killer in the town or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm all about this. This looks great. So, I was excited about that. The other ones kind of were like, whatever. But yeah, I was.
What was that?
About that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What was that game that looked like Gundam crossed with Armored Core? That actually looked kind of sick.
So I think they showed it at one of the showcases you were watching, because I remember you made the comment. You're like, this is some kind of Garrett crap over here. Like, what's going on?
I said it was Garrett Core content, because that's what it is.
Exactly. But they showed it at Summer Game Fest as well. Mecha Break.
That's it.
It's like Gundam and Armored Core had a baby. Like when they first show the mechs, they look like Gundams. I think if you watch the stream from my reaction stream from Summer Game Fest, I was like, oh, Gundam game, sick. And then I'm like, wait a second. I started showing combat, and I'm like, this is like some Armored Core combat, like very fast paced, like jetting around, like really intense, frenetic, kind of crazy. I'm like, oh, wait a second. This isn't like the typical Gundam game. This is like, and I think I said that, like, this is like Armored Core and Gundam had a baby or something. And then it's like Mecha Break. I'm like, okay, I'm in. This looks great. I don't know. There's a beta test coming this August, apparently. But let's see. It's no specific date for the beta test was revealed, but the presentation also revealed that Takayuki Yanase, known from Metal Gear, Gundam, Armored Core, and Junya Ishigaki, Xenogears, and Gundam, provided their talents to help design some of the game's mechs. So that makes sense. So it's a guy who.
No wonder they look sick then.
So it's the guy who designed Metal Gear, Gundams, and Armored Core, and then another guy who designed Xenogears and Gundams. So it's like, okay, yeah, all the things I said.
So probably the guy who designed all the Metal Gears, like the actual Metal Gears, and then the guy who designed all the mechs in Xenogears, teamed up to design these mechs. So it makes sense. Yeah, I might have to look into this one.
There might be something to this. There's a beta test in August. I'm like, okay, I'm interested.
Summer Game Fest, for real quick, they didn't have the indies didn't have a huge presence, but and it's not necessarily the part of the announcement I'm excited about. But the Among Us team, Inner Sloth, premiered their new animated series. But the big kicker, which is pretty cool, is they also announced that they're doing a new division of their company called Outer Sloth. Which is going to be running support services for indie game developers if they need them. That is awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, them doing their own indie kind of publishing wing, or it's not even publishing, but just helping provide funds for little indies who need the help. I'm like, that's incredible. Like they made so much money off of Among Us. I mean, they're getting a freaking TV show. For them to turn around and be like, nah, yeah, we're gonna share the wealth. We're not just gonna hoard it for ourselves. We actually care about the industry. We're not just about making money. We're about helping other creators. I'm like, that was sick. That was rad. Kittens in the chat says Among Us Publishing is publishing a game from one of my friends, the Battle Chef Brigade team's new game. Oh, that's
Battle Chef Brigade. I love Battle Chef Brigade. Are they doing another one, or are they doing a different game?
Ooh.
You have to tell me, Kittens.
We'll have to find out. But yeah, very cool. I couldn't care less about the animated show, honestly. I just wish
it's nice. I wish them success.
Yeah,
but
I kind of wish
that's not the real announcement.
I kind of wish though the trailer even it was funny. I was like, I thought there was voice actors on this. They released a list of the cast, but then the trailer had no talking, no dialogue in it. It was just just a bunch of the Among Us characters running around being silly. I'm like, show us the voice talent.
In the game, so
no, yeah, they don't talk in the game either. So that's why I was like, oh, this seems perfectly normal. But then it was afterwards, I'm like, wait a second, they've released a cast list. Why didn't they why?
Maybe they're gonna be ancillary characters like aliens, or I don't know, space shuttle staff, or cameos. I don't know. And the actual Among Us characters will just stay silent.
Maybe. I don't know. Either way, the trailer didn't really do much for me. I'm like, I wasn't really excited before to watch it, and I'm not really excited now. But Kittens in chat says it's like a Battle Space Brigade, trying to find the name. Oh, Battlesuit Aces. Interesting.
Keep me posted, because that team does good work.
One other thing that kind of maybe got my attention was only because the trailer was kind of humorous, and it wasn't what I expected, because the first game in the series, I had negative interest in it. Not even just 0% in it. It was just something I'm like, oh, this is nothing I want to touch with a 100-foot pole. It just seems so bland and boring. But then they showed the trailer for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And this trailer was it reminded me of there's straight up Monty Python Holy Grail type jokes in there and stuff. It was humorous. I'm like, oh, it's these two brothers or I don't know if they're brothers or friends. They act like brothers. They're but it's just this comedy, this banter back and forth. I'm like, this looks great. I have vivid memories of the Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first one, being very dry and realistic, serious. And then for this trailer to come out, and they're just making these jokes, or they're straight up just making these totally stupid kind of Monty Python-esque jokes. This medieval.
Are these two the main characters, or just joke characters that they we can make a good trailer around these two?
That's what I don't know. I'm not sure. I think they're the main characters, but I don't know. I don't know the premise of the game. So I guess I'm gonna read the description here. This all-new look at the studio's medieval sequel swaps between bloody battles and comedy as it shows off some of the different encounters players may find themselves in. There's no release date yet, but the project... Okay, so, yeah, I don't know. Like, is that actually, like, stuff that'll happen in the game, or was it just all faked for a trailer? It's hard to tell, but either way, I was just like, okay, like, I need to... Once this game comes out, I might need to do a little more research, because honestly, I'm like, if I can play Monty Python the Holy Grail as a video game, like, I'm in.
How have they tried to make a Monty Python game? I don't think so, right?
No, I doubt it. I don't think so. Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, nothing else. Oh,
yeah,
Monster Hunter Wilds announced that they're getting
crossplay, baby.
Crossplay.
The first time. Yes.
Play where you want, with whoever you want. That's awesome.
I gotta assume that Wilds is coming to the next Nintendo hardware, and I'm thinking, should I get it there so I can have the availability to play it anywhere?
You think this is gonna run on Switch too?
Yeah. If they were able to make Rise run on the original Switch hardware, I think that they can make Wild work on the next one, especially if it's supposed to be like borderline PS4. They'll just do the same thing. They'll lower the resolution and probably cap the frame rate and call it a day.
Yeah.
And Rise didn't run terribly on Switch either. It was just a consistent 30.
Monster Hunter Wilds. What game engine are they using?
Especially now that they have crossplay, I don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? You guys can have your super duper ultra experience, and I can, you know,
Monster Hunter Wilds is using RE engine. Has there been Resident Evil games on? Has there been any other RE engine games on Switch?
I'm trying to think. Well, Rise is RE. I think so.
You're correct. Yeah. So I mean, I guess it could. Yeah, like a really like kind of restricted version, essentially, like dialed down frame rates and graphics and stuff. They could probably get it to work.
You never know. This hardware could surprise you. It's supposed to be able to do that, FSR and stuff like that. So the
real question is if the game's gonna have cross save. Because here's the thing, I could see you picking it up on two platforms. Like initially maybe getting on Switch to have it to go, but then like eventually gonna be like, it's gonna be nice to play 4K on my TV, you know, and buying it somewhere else. It's like that's where the kicker is. Like, is it gonna have cross save? Because if you can't do that and you have to start over on another console, that's
I'm gonna be upset.
Not ideal.
But yeah, I mean that was pretty much the majority of what hit for me. At Summer Game Fest. Overall, did not like it. Was not. I mean, even Jeff said, "Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a lighter year." I didn't know you meant this light, dude.
Yeah, I honestly like if I was to give it like a B, C, D, F kind of rating, like this is
C. Easy.
Oh, really? That high? I was thinking low.
Oh, you were gonna say D? I was gonna be nice.
No, I'm pushing D, even like borderline. Like if it wasn't for like those couple things I mentioned, it might even be a straight up F. Like this was bad. Okay. This is not good. This is really bad. I was going real negative on it.
Okay, I was there mentally. I just didn't want to be a bully.
I mean, I feel like that's not.
But you're telling the truth. You're telling the truth.
I'm just being honest. I don't know.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're telling the truth. I was trying to spare feelings. So
I've loved Summer Game Fest in the past, and yeah, this was just a disappointment.
Some of them have been great.
Yeah, this was a disappointment to go in and be like, there really was nothing. Even the things that I mentioned that I'm excited about were nothing like. There was nothing, no like jump up out of my seat moments. Like where I feel like previous years there's been at least one thing. I'm like, no way, what? Like. This was a very even keel, like chill. Like my reaction stream is very laid back. I'm like, okay,
that's a thing that's happening. Did a lot of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is fine. Or this is something we heard about coming, or this is something like, okay, yeah. There's no blow the doors open kind of thing. That's my feelings.
All right.
I'm sticking to it.
Let's get to the fun stuff.
All right. The next one, Day of the Devs. Immediately after Summer Game Fest, they launched into Day of the Devs 2024. Everything announced. Boy, what a breath of fresh air when this came in. According to this IGN article, with a whopping 21 games, many of which were newly announced. They included cozy sims, unsettling horror games, arcade collections, RPGs, and more. We couldn't choose our favorites out of the bunch, so here's a full rundown of everything you missed. But really, you should watch Showcase yourself, which I agree. So go over to youtube.com/SuperGamerBoys and watch my reaction over there. It was a fun time. Adrian, what are some of your standouts? Go ahead and throw me a standout of Day of the Devs.
Oh boy, let me get my list up here. Give me just a second, because like they said, there was a lot. 21 games.
That's a lot of stuff.
All right, let's see what we got here. I'm trying to remember. Oh, the one from the Grindstone people, Battle Vision Network. Do you remember that one?
Maybe. Hang on, I need to. Let me look it up real quick. This article didn't do a very good. Usually these IGN articles are great because they put a trailer with everything announced, but for some reason on this one they didn't. So, Battle Vision Network. Yes, I do remember this one. Okay. This was made by the same people who did Grindstone, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome. So this is like it was like match 3 type deal, but it's like it was versus another player, right? PvP.
Right. Yeah, you have to. It's like a. What's the word? Like puzzle fighter kind of, or when you play Tetris against somebody else and you have to make the lines before they do, or else you get out.
Yep.
It's not necessarily in the form of Tetris, but I'm just saying it's that level of competition.
That's awesome. Yeah. That one did look sick. I love the art too. That's some fun.
Because the art in Grindstone was really good too.
One that I was super stoked about, and actually it just came out. Apparently it came out. I don't know. I'm confused because I didn't think it was out yet. But then, June 11th. So it did just come out. Okay. That's what I thought. So it just came out yesterday. It was Psychroma. This one, it's the horror cyberpunk game. So, but it has like the graphical style of it. Immediately reminded me of like read-only memories, 2064 read-only memories, like that type of graphics, like pixel art style. Like it looks actually very similar to read-only memories. Like at first I thought it was like a sequel, and then it started getting like really like creepy and like demented and horror. And I'm just like, oh, this is definitely not.
That's not it.
Connected to 2064 at all. But so yeah, Psychroma is a narrative-driven side scroller where you play as a digital medium, confront the past by placing together the broken memories of a cybernetic house, and exorcise the ghost in the machine. So it looks creepy as all get out, and it was one of those where it came out yesterday and it was on sale, introductory offer, and I picked it up on Steam immediately. I was so stoked. Yeah, that one 100% I'm excited to jump into. But yeah, it has just super, it's like the idea, it's taking all the typical like stereotypes of like horror stuff, like, oh, there's a spirit medium and there's ghost and there's this, that, but it's like in the cyberpunk realm where it's like they say it's a digital medium, not a spirit medium. Like, so this person's able to commune and kind of talk to technology and exercise these like ghost spirits, but it's still very much like super creepy horror designs and stuff like that. I love it. So it's cool. Very unique. Really looking forward to that.
There's another one that looks like, what's the one that looked like the Game Boy Color game? You know what I'm talking about? Pedal Runner. There we go. I found it in the list. Pedal Runner is it says it's a GBA style RPG from Nanopark Studios. It's awesome. It looks like,
so Selks jumped on the stream with me. He was like, "Oh, I saw Adrian wasn't here with you," so he jumped on and kind of reacted. He jumped on during Day of the Devs. I don't think he was on during Summer Game Fest, but during Day of the Devs, he jumped in. And when that one came on, we both were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so like this looks so amazing!" Like, yeah, Game Boy.
Yes.
He even said he's like, "Oh, it reminds me of what's that Nintendo." Not Mother, but what's the one before, like the original one?
Earthbound.
He's like, it has like a very much like an Earthbound look to it, and I'm like, oh, 100%. It looks like the graphics and colors and everything. That game looks absolutely incredible.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I saw it at the Xbox showcase, but it's coming out everywhere else too. You, I think, sent me a clip of it. Either you or somebody else. The game where you play it in 2D and 3D at the same time. Yes. That one's gonna be nuts.
Screenbound.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one is so crazy. How did they design that, dude?
I forget. Yeah, what I was watching a video as well. I can't remember if it was during Day of the Devs. I think during they did almost like an in-depth kind of discussion on like the development of it and like how that all like basically it's the same level editor that they use for both the 2D and 3D worlds, and so it made it really easy to make the two different worlds because they could just make it all in the same editor and click a button to make it 3D or 2D basically with the assets they had loaded into the engine. And yeah, it makes for like the super trippy gameplay. I love that. Like the enemies don't show up in the 3D space, but they're there in the 2D space, or like the way the platforms line up. Such a cool concept. Like it's just gonna like break my brain playing that, I feel like, right? Like how do you focus on all that at once? Absolutely crazy. Another one is Zoocosis. That's another horror game.
Yes.
Zoocosis, so according to IGN here, it's a body cam horror sim where you play as a zookeeper working at a zoo where animals have been infected with something that's turning them into mutants. You have the power to save them by creating a vaccine, but you have to survive them first. Zoocosis even features different endings depending on player choices. It's made by Clapperheads and is coming to PC sometime this year. That game looked absolutely terrifying. Like Selks knew about it ahead of time, so he's like he was anticipating the whole time. He's like, oh dude, I hope they show more Zoocosis. I hope we get a date. I was gonna say, and then they did, and he's like, this is it. And oh my gosh, it was like, this is terrifying. Like, this is absolutely terrifying. I don't know if I can handle this. Oh man, they had a lot of horror games at Day of the Devs this year, which I'm not mad about. I love a good horror game, but
shout out to what's that one game where they play with the real life clock, where you have to you want to do an event and then you have to go, and like actually live your life and then come back and do it later. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
does that make sense?
I don't.
Like for an example, like you'll send a message right to a character in the game, and then you have to just let the game run or put it in the background or something like that, or it'll send you like a message or something, and then it'll be like 2 or 3 hours later, and then that other player has responded to you. You know what I mean? What is it called?
I vaguely remember. It was a game they showed, you say?
Lord, let me look in the list.
Yeah, I mean, they showed so much, it's hard to remember
called...
While you're
what's up?
Sorry, my OBS just cut out. My internet just dropped, but I think we're back.
While waiting.
Yeah.
While waiting follows a person through their life from birth to death, focusing in on the moments they spend waiting for buses, for traffic, for lines, for elevators. You can be patient and wait, or you can cause all kind of mischief to try and get things to hurry along.
Oh, I do remember, because that one was like, it was really silly and stupid. Like, it was like, basically it was just like Troublemaker Simulator. That's how it came across to me. It was just like,
right.
It's like, sit here and wait. And it's like, yeah, okay. And then it's just like the kid just causing mayhem. Yeah, that one looked hilarious. I'm actually really excited about that one. Another horror game that's like more on just like the creepy, unsettling side was Tom the Post Girl. It was like had a
This
really.
one I think I missed.
It had a really like cutesy art style. But yeah, so it was about Tom the Post Girl. It's almost like Red Riding Hood. Like I had that, like everything was black and white except for like the main character you control had like a red hood on. Tom the Post Girl is about a post girl named Tom. Tom has a bad habit though. She likes to snoop on her neighbors, and what she finds when she starts stalking them is not always wholesome or pleasant to observe. Tom the Post Girl is by Oopsie Daisy Studio, hand-drawn settings, plenty of unsettling imagery, while still being a little cute. Comes out quarter 3 of 2025. But yeah, it's like, all right, like you're going around delivering mail and packages, and then you're just like peeking into, like windows
People's
and
lives.
stuff. And it's like people just doing all sorts of ridiculous things, from like mid murder to like, maybe just passed out drunk on the floor and just like, just wild stuff, like, or like weird creatures and monsters like coming out of like, like eldritch horrors coming from closets and stuff like that. It's like this girl's like way too in other people's business and seeing some wild stuff, the stuff she should not see. I just thought that looked kind of fun. And I love like the hand drawn aesthetic as well. Like everything is like it's hand drawn world and rooms and everything.
I'm into it.
Yeah, it's a fun one. We got DLC for Little to the Left. I'm excited about that. I love that game.
I'm stoked. Little to the Left is awesome.
But yeah, I don't know.
I think those are the highlights, huh?
We could just keep naming stuff, man. This is
right. I was gonna say pretty much everything that they recommend you should at least look into.
Yeah. Kind of our purpose in this episode is just almost to like bring more light to it. In case you didn't watch it, hey, there's a lot to be excited about. So now go watch it. Go watch the showcase, please. But yeah, Day of the Devs. Now this one I straight up would give like this is up there. This
Solid
is like
B.
this isn't.
Are you gonna say an A?
I was gonna say an A for this one. Because even the things that didn't like super peak like my interest, like it isn't necessarily my type of game, still looked incredible.
Right. That's not the game's fault.
Yeah.
It
Like
didn't look like a bad game. It's just wasn't something for you.
Like that. Did you see the I think they showed it at Wholesome Direct, building relationships. It's
yes,
like
that one looks pretty good.
It's like you play as a house.
I was cracking up with that one, dude.
It says describes building that Thai Studio Tanant Games describes building relationships as like a short hike but stupid. You play as a house, literal house, rolling around the 3D map, talking to other houses and buildings, and trying to find yourself a date. It's not a dating sim exactly, as the whole game takes place in one day. It's just a goofy adventure. Treasure chests are hidden around the map, but they're in a polycule and don't want to date you. You can fish, but you can fish up cars. Building relationships will be out on Steam at a later
Dude, they
date.
showed the house like trying to climb up the side of like a little rock formation. And it's like rolling over itself. Oh, that's so good.
I love how it has like, it has a little bit of like the fishing sim. It has a little bit of like the dating sim, but it's like none of those things because the whole game takes place in like 24 hours. So it's like, obviously there's never like, you're not going to build a relationship in 24 hours. Like, I don't know. This is so funny. I love how their description.
I'm interested to see how that one turns out. I have a good feeling about it's gonna pull through.
Their whole description was just like, it's so stupid. It's really dumb. Like he just kept saying that over and over again. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be good.
The game's like, we know what we are. We're here for a good time. All right.
Oh man. But yeah, Summer Game Fest. Even if I didn't, it wasn't my thing. Everything looked fantastic. I gave it an A. I think you should go. If you missed Day of the Devs, go check out Day of the Devs. Showcase and show some indie games some love, because that's where it's at.
Do it.
If anything, to kind of like take a step back, we've learned anything from this weekend is that AAA games are dead.
In the gutter. In the gutter.
And indie games are gonna take over, and I'm here for it. I am here for our new overlords.
I'm glad I pulled you off the AAA Titanic in time before it started to sink.
Right. I mean, there's still AAA games coming out.
Oh, of course.
And some of them are good.
Of course, yeah. But we're just,
but man,
zooming out, looking at it.
The landscape, yeah. Once you zoom out and look at the landscape of things, it's like, oh, okay, indie games are what's keeping this thing rolling, and I'm loving it. You ready to jump over to Devolver Direct?
Yeah, this one you got to lead me on.
Okay.
I was unable to catch the Devolver Direct. I'm sure they brought some fire. They always do. So
this one was short and sweet, about 30 minutes long. And it did the same thing that every Devolver Direct does, where it's not just a showcase.
Devolves into madness.
There's a story that a through line through the entire thing that's just bonkers, off the wall crazy. This IGN article kicks it off. Happy birthday, Volvi, I guess. Devolver Digital just wrapped its annual Devolver Direct, which among plenty of weirdness included a number of big game announcements. We got 2 new game reveals, including one from the devs of Hyper Light Drifter, new DLC for games like Cult of the Lamb, and release dates for the Crush House and Angerfoot.
I gotta see this.
A time was certainly had by all, but if you missed the show and don't want to go back and watch a 30-minute video of a lonely man trying to prepare for a birthday party, here's a quick recap of the announcements. I highly recommend watching the 30-minute video of a lonely man trying to prepare for a birthday party, because it is absolutely incredible. I love it. The first thing that they announced was Tenjutsu. What a way to kick it off, because immediately they're just like, from the designer of Dead Cells, and I'm like, I'm in. You got me. I don't care what it is. Dead Cells was incredible. I am 100% in. The first of 2 brand new games announced was Tenjutsu. It's a rogue jutsu game set in a crumbling city where you play as a renegade Yakuza, taking down her former colleagues. Tenjutsu looks to be something like a combination of Dead Cells, Streets of Rage, and Sifu. Your goal is to take down 4 crime syndicates, which you can tackle in any order as you slowly improve your skills at a complex brawler fighting system. You can also use resources you collect to build up the city with shops and restaurants, but spending too much time preparing will result in stronger enemies. Tenjutsu is coming to PC and consoles, but no release date just yet. So as part of the trailer, there's like an anime style sequence, and I'm like, at first I was like, is this a game? Oh my gosh. And then it turns out it's not. But honestly, the art style of the game is incredible, because it's still like a 3D type pixel art that almost reminded me of Katana Zero, but even more of the 3D effect to it. Love it.
I heard a lot of people belly aching about it. They're like, "Oh, it's pixel art. It's pixel art again. It's da 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 da." How many pixel art games do we have versus any other art style or 3D games these days?
Right.
Like on a whole, right? Because the indie game scene has a lot of pixel art, which I'm not complaining about.
Especially when it's done well. This is This is the HD 3D pixel art. It's not just a side scroller,
Because I can tell you a much longer list of pixel art games that have made me feel feels and go on adventures that I will remember forever than I can with a lot of 3D ones. So
yeah,
calling a spade here.
Go play some Undertale or from some Omori, and that'll wreck
Omori, Undertale, 2064.
Yeah, 2064. If you want to be wrecked, go play those games. But yeah, super stoked for Tenjutsu. So it's literally kicks off with that. I'm like, all right, it's gonna get better here, right? And it does. Possessors. In Devolver's second game announcement of the evening, we took a look at Possessors. Art style looks familiar. Yep, this is from the Hyper Light Drifter and Solar Ash developer Heart Machine. It's a side-scroller action game with sci-fi horror elements where you play as Luca and her counterpart Rem. The two explore a city wrecked by an interdimensional catastrophe. Possessor has an open-ended world structure.
I'm watching the preview now.
Multiple possible paths available at any given time and focuses on tight combat, challenging bosses, and exploration. It's coming to PC and console in 2025. Another one that graphically is
looking like a banger.
Gorgeous. The combat looks like so much fun. And I mean, it's coming from a studio that's known for solid stuff, like Hyper Light Drifter.
And Solar Ash.
And Solar Ash. You can't go wrong there. So, check that out. Let's see. The Crush House. This was one. I thought it was something else. Like in my reaction, I'm like, oh, I remember this game. It's not. It's not the game I thought it was. I thought it was the Thirsty Suitors, I think is the name of the game.
Yeah, that one's out already.
So yeah, it's not that. The Crush House is basically you're a producer of the titular reality TV show set at a Malibu mansion. Every week, you select 4-person cast from 12 total actors and let them loose in the Crush House, filming spicy moments over several days to satisfy your drama-loving audience. When you're not filming, you're likely spending time obsessing over details like decorations, props, and other ways to capture different audience segments. Though you'll also quickly realize there's a deeper mystery going on beneath the brightly colored veneer of the house. And so like, yeah, it would like things would happen and then all of a sudden like it would rewind a second and then it would play it back and it'd be slightly different or like rewind again. Like, so like not only were events changing, but then there's this weird thing where yeah, like it says, it alludes to like there's something dark happening here that they're not letting on exactly what it is. Like, well, like the videotape would kind of like, you know, kind of static or kind of like, or like, you know, all of a sudden like really dark. Like there'd just be like different dark moments. It'd be like, oh, wait a second, that's creepy. Like, why would they say that or do that? Like what? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of interested in it. Not because I care about the whole like drama, dating, like Wild House kind of party TV vibe, but it's like, I want to know
just to see that undertone.
What's the dark undertone that they're like? What's the lead that they're burying here? There's something else going on, and I am kind of interested in it. And then there's a couple other things. Angerfoot got a release date, and Talos Principle 2 is getting DLC. But I think the thing that most people are going to be excited about is Cult of the Lamb getting DLC. Unholy Alliance. Woo! They're adding local co-op.
Really?
A brand new character, the goat. So the main character was the sheep before. Now you can play as the goat. You and another friend sit on the couch. And I assume online too. It says local co-op, but I assume they're going to have online co-op too, right? That would make sense. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
But yeah, so new character, new challenges, new twist on existing mini games, ability to swap weapons between the two characters, deal extra damage of fighting back to back, plenty more. There's also new rewards being added to the game for solo players. So don't worry if you don't have a goat buddy. Unholy Alliance will release on August 12th for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. So that got me excited. I only played like 30 minutes of Cult of the Lamb and loved what I played, so I really would love to get back into that, and especially with co-op. I'm like, ooh, who can I play with now? That sounds fun. But Kittens makes a good point. Local co-op only would be great. Make me sit next to somebody and play. Honestly, I kind of agree with you.
I love local co-op.
I miss those days of being like, oh, we're gonna play this game, then you need to come over. I'm coming to your house. Like that would be great. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad if that was the case. You know, if they force people to actually hang out, that would be awesome.
Hey, go outside, nerds.
Devolver Direct gets a.
What are you thinking?
My brain says B, but my heart says A. So here's the problem. Like as far as what was announced, there was only like 5 things announced, 6 things. So like not a
for
ton.
30 minutes. That's
And it wasn't like a ton. So like I think I give it like a B because everything announced was good. Don't get me wrong. Like everything here, I was like, okay, this looks great. The only reason I want to give it an A is because I love the production value of this. How stupid the whole showcase is. But I give that a solid B. Like there was some good announcements for some DLC, some new games. Like both the new games they announced look incredible. So, yeah, I don't know. Go watch Devolver Direct, please, because not only do the games look great, but
ASAP.
You wanna find out what happens at Volvi's birthday, right?
I don't know if I do. I'm nervous because there's always something.
I love it. All right, let's move on here to the next showcase, and this was your joint, Adrian. You were on Saturday duty. Wholesome Direct. That's right.
Yeah, baby. Woo. So Saturday was the Wholesome Direct. For those who are uninitiated, the Wholesome Direct is exactly what it sounds like. It is a direct event showcase, showcasing I guess what you could say either what are known as cozy or wholesome games from developers all around the world. It happens once a year, every year around this time, and this year was no exception. So man, there were a few games that I was just absolutely over the moon to check out. Also, I'll get to this in a little bit, but there was some people that work at a company that we're, online buds with got a spot in the Wholesome Direct. I'll circle back to that in a little bit. But I just wanted to highlight a few games that were in the showcase that I definitely am on the lookout for, and you should be as well. Starting off with, if you watch us stream sometimes, or if you heard me talk about it, there's a game called Minami Lane. It is I guess you could say it's a town builder in a sense, but you're really building, streets. You're building up streets. You're putting buildings down and parks and attractions and things like that to kind of help spruce up the neighborhood. And you do that, strategically so that you can meet whatever goal the game places on you for building that neighborhood. The reason it's here, even though it's already out, that it was in this direct, is because it is coming to Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah, I forgot they announced that. Yeah.
It's finally making its way over that way. So if you are a console only player and you don't want to play it on PC, this is 100% go out and get it. I have it. I own it. It is awesome. I can highly recommend it, and it doesn't take very long to finish at all. The second one is called Discounty, and it is you can say it's like an RPG almost, where you run your own supermarket. So if you think of that game, the game Midnighter or Moonlighter,
Moonlighter.
Yeah, it's that, except you don't have to dungeon crawl. You get your stuff delivered to you, right? Oh. So you can make your shop and you can make a shop, you can make a tavern, you can change your inventory and do whatever, kind of business you want to do.
Yeah.
But during the trailer, they did a couple of flashes to like this almost eerie dark timeline, or maybe like a parallel universe, or maybe like something that happens in the future or the past. I don't know. But just like you were saying, that one game was hiding the undertones of it.
Yeah.
This game is absolutely doing that. Okay. But on its surface, it's a supermarket or it's a business simulator. And I mean, you can have your business jumping. You can have a ton of people in there and a ton of, product for them to sell. Or you can start out and just be a humble little shop wherever you are. That one is definitely another one I would say to put on your radar. If you haven't already.
Yeah, I just saw the trailer here and it looks very good.
Mm-hmm. My next one would be Lost and Found Company. It is it's an homage, I guess, kind of throwback. It's a mixture of the Where's Waldo type of find the thing, find the person in the image.
Oh, okay.
And it's a bunch of different scenes that the team has made up, and it also has like a through line story that you're gonna follow while you're doing these. So it's pretty cool. And a lot of the scenes are animated too. You know how like a lot of times, Where's Waldo, it would just be a page of a book, or it would be when it was the computer game, things wouldn't move that much. It would just be kind of like static images, but no, these all feel lively, and the things that you find, I think, are supposed to correlate to whatever whatever is happening in the story at the time. I think there's a demo out for it, so give it a shot for yourself, see if you like it. But it definitely looked interesting to me and something to look into and to check out. This next one, next to last, is one that I played at Day of the Devs. That it looks absolutely amazing, and I think it's going to be really cool. It's called SOPA, which yes. In talking to the devs, basic high school Spanish knowledge, SOPA is soup, and this game has you play as a young man who is staying with his grandmother, and it kind of focuses on their relationship, right? So you and your grandma are cooking a dish, for lunch or dinner or whatever, and she asks you to go and get something from the cupboard. And you go to try to find whatever the item is in the cupboard, and it just keeps going and going and going when you step into it, until finally you come out the other side and you're in a world where it's just inhabited by frogs. And you would think, oh, that's kind of quirky and interesting. Well, the thing is, while you're in there looking for whatever, the current ingredient is, there's a whole story, a plot that plays out in there. And it's kind of helping him not only learn about himself, but, kind of learn, not compartmentalize is not the word I want to use. It helps him to come to revelations about his relationship, with his grandmother.
Right.
And every time you come back out of that world and go back into your world, the game ages up. So you're going to be a little bit older every time you come back. And that's not random. It's just like, every time you finish a chapter and you come back, you're going to be a little bit older, and your perspective on life is going to be changed, and the way you speak with your grandma versus when you were a kid is going to change. But yeah, no, this game looks amazing. Yeah, and I really enjoyed the demo, and I really enjoyed talking to the devs about it, and they kind of gave me that rundown. So keep an eye on this one. I know on the console front, Xbox is doing a real big push for it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be everywhere, and it's also going to be on PC. And then on my side note, Panic was there. They had a spot at the Wholesome Direct. Panic, the makers of the Playdate.
Yeah.
They did a quick smorgasbord of all their titles that they have on Playdate, and then a couple of them that are getting ready to come out here. They kind of showcased. So that was awesome to see them there. I love seeing that they're taking part in the festivities. Yeah, get a Playdate, dude. Get a Playdate. It's an awesome little piece of kit.
So good.
And then my last one is called Into the Emberlands. It is kind of how can I put this? The game that's supposed to come out, the Lucky Squire.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, the world is like it's in a book, and then it kind of folds out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, except this one doesn't go into the real world, but it like unfolds as if it were a storybook. And basically you're managing like these different sites around wherever you are. And there's this essence, like it's like a miasma, it's like a goo that's trying to surround whatever space you're in. And you're doing things with the people who are inhabitants of that area to keep that miasma at bay. So like you're helping them build stuff, you're helping them solve problems. And every time that you do that, the space around you opens up a little bit more, because that cloud of stuff is being pushed back. And at a certain point, you'll have like a whole little community and village of people who are in there. And I think that one has a demo too, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So yeah, those were my and there are a lot more that weren't necessarily my bag, but weren't bad games at all in the slightest. So I would just recommend that you go to wholesomegames.com. Their front page right now is all the games that were in the direct, and you can just take a look at all of them and see what tickles your fancy.
There's so many. Yeah, they just have everything listed there, and you can click on them. It takes you right to the Steam page or wherever to get more information. So go check that out. Actually, I'm surprised we didn't get an update at the Wholesome Direct, but last year they showed up. There's a game that was showed up called, I think I don't know how to pronounce this. Skim, maybe? That's SCHIM. It's the one about where you're like the little creature that lives inside the shadows, and then you jump from shadows.
Yeah.
So they didn't do any update this year at Wholesome Direct or anywhere. They weren't nowhere to be seen. But about 2 weeks ago, I got an email, and I was invited to do a play test for the game. So I did a little play test on Steam. And let me tell you, the game, it was a very, very tiny, very, very tiny slice. So like story wise, like I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of like, They even asked for feedback. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I know I only got to play like 2 levels. So, but gameplay wise, I'm like, this is a lot of fun. Like it's all the puzzles.
Oh, yes.
Jumping in and out of the shadows, but like some of the shadows are moving, like whether the person's walking or maybe you jump in a shadow of a bicycle or a car, or a bird that's flying. And like, there's a goal from point A to point B by using shadows in the world of like someone jogging through a park or whatever. It was pretty cool. The concept is there. I just hope they can kind of nail it with like a halfway decent story, because otherwise it can just kind of get like, all right, this is more of the same.
What am I doing in this level?
It's more just like a puzzle fest, which isn't a bad thing. Some people like that. Some people just want a puzzle game, but that's what I love about indie games a lot of times, is there's always such a good story connected to it. So I hope they can land that. But I just wanted to give a little update. It has nothing to do with Summer Game Fest, because they didn't talk about last year. It was at Summer Game Fest last year was it Day of the Devs or Wholesome Direct? Might have been both. But it was fun little test there.
Okay.
Cool. So overall, Wholesome Direct was amazing. Always is. They show so many games. I think that's what's always so impressive to me. There's so many games they show. Like, again, go to wholesomegames.com and it's gonna rock your socks just how many games they showed off. And they all look so good. Like, even the ones that I'm like, there's no reason why I should like be interested in this, but it looks so awesome. So awesome. So go check that out. Awesome. All right. And then, the last showcase then, Xbox Game Showcase. This also was Adrian was solo on the stream, but I was there in the chat watching the whole time. Boy, what a way to cap off Summer Game Fest. To start with Summer Game Fest Prime, where my opinion is like borderline an F, to then end with the Xbox Game Showcase, where we finally got something AAA. Not that like that has to happen, but it was exciting to be like, okay, there are still games coming out in the AAA space, because it feels like there's not a lot, or at least not a lot of quality things. Like that, I was
gonna say not a lot of interesting ones.
Yeah,
there's AAA games coming, but nothing interesting. Noteworthy.
Obviously the big hype thing, everyone is losing their minds over Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We're on the same we're on the same page, right? Like we don't care.
I didn't even react to it on the stream.
That's true. You watch just the Xbox showcase and you're like, at the beginning you're like, just to be clear, anyone tuning in at the beginning here, we're not watching the Call of Duty showcase. I love that. I'm like, way to go, Adrian, just like calling it right now. Nope, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
But then they come out with Doom: The Dark Ages.
Oh my God. That game looks so crazy. Did you okay, so you were there. You saw.
I was there. Yeah. I was eating lunch, so I was not right next to the TV, but I could kind of see it over like through the railing, and I was just like,
right.
How wild is this? I did, because Trudy was sitting there too. I was like, I never super got the Doom hype. Like, it's not my game, but at the same time, like, it doesn't mean it doesn't look cool. Like, it still looks rad. I don't not necessarily care for the game, but let me tell you,
that's fair.
That trailer was rad. I'm like, okay, like,
so this looks like it's gonna be a prequel to the other Dooms. This takes place in, like, I guess way back when.
It says here on this list, it's exploring the origins of Doomslayer, a new prequel.
Yeah, if you played the 2016 Doom, you'll notice, like, as you go through the game, you'll pick up like little report pages or lore pages, right? And it'll talk about events that have happened millennia ago. And it talks about the reason why the Doomslayer is feared the way that he is. And this game that's coming out now is going to be basically us seeing those things happen and living those moments to see exactly how we got to where we are now.
Okay. I love the armor. Like the armor, at least in this on this article, like it's like has spikes on the shoulders, it got fur around the neck. Like it's very like almost like
Viking-ish,
Viking,
warrior-ish,
medieval kind of like armor. It's so cool. Oh man.
So you got new weapons, particularly one that I thought was so sick,
Yes,
and I know it did too.
The shield, right?
Yeah, there's a shield, that it doubles as a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And then there is a gun that does not take regular ammo. It takes the skulls of dead enemies and grinds them up and shoots the ground up skull pieces as bullets. That is the coolest idea for a gun I think I've heard in a long time. That's amazing. And then on top of that, there's I think there's even more traversal methods now. So and then there's way more new guns. And at some point in the game, the Doomslayer goes into a giant version of itself, and it's a mecha battle.
What the heck? This game is just becoming a meme at this point. It's just like, hey,
I don't care. It's awesome.
How ridiculous can we get?
But yeah, they show it, and it's like this giant version of the Doomslayer suit, right? And it's just, it's so cool. I can't wait for this game.
Oh, man.
I have been wondering for the longest time, what is id working on? And now we know.
Now you know.
Oh,
Next Doom.
starting out with a banger, dude.
Awesome. Next was State of Decay 3. It's been several years since we've seen anything. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Zombies, I kind of fallen off hard on zombies. Like zombies used to be the thing. Like I feel like, I don't know, like 10 to 15
Zombied
years
out.
ago. Yeah, 10 to 15 years ago, that was, those are my games. And now it's like, I can't remember the last zombie game I've touched, other than like, I guess if you can call the clicker zombies in Last of Us, Last of Us 1 and 2. But honestly though, watching this, I'm like, okay, this looks pretty cool. I've never played a State of Decay game, but I wasn't expecting this to be State of Decay when I was watching the trailer. I'm like, oh, I think you were even like, oh, is this like, I don't know. You mentioned a couple other zombie games. You're like Days Gone and like stuff like that. You're like
DayZ,
DayZ. It was like, what is this? Like, oh, State of Decay. Like you're kind of surprised. It's not like on the stream.
Yeah. Apparently they're using Unreal 5 for this one, and it does show. It looks pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
So color me impressed.
With State of Decay, it was always like there's like the it's not just the survival aspect, but you're also like kind of like there's like community management as well, right? Like that's the idea. Is like you're kind of like, okay, you got a base, and you got to make sure that people are fed and stuff like that. I think that's the case with it. So
I believe I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yes, that's exactly what it is, because I could definitely be wrong. But if I'm not mistaken,
yeah, I was surprised either way. Watching the trailer, I'm like, okay, this looks interesting. I could get excited about this. Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I feel
like this would be more your bag, no? Oh, well.
I've never played a Dragon Age game, and honestly, I was not super interested in it. I don't know. The trailer didn't really speak to me. Again, I don't have any background with Dragon Age at all, and then even more so after watching this, I'm like, oh, this like it just had a weird tone. I can't put my finger on what it was, but
like it was trying to be funny or something.
I think so. Like it's one thing to like just be funny, but this almost felt like it was trying to be funny too hard. Right? Does that make sense? Like it seemed too lighthearted for the world it was in. And that kind of like threw me off, which is funny me saying that, because that's one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of fantasy a lot of times, because it's so too serious, But this almost felt like I was like, you're trying too hard now. Like I don't want to give you the time of day.
We're a quirky bunch.
But yeah, I also don't have the history with Dragon Age. But have you played any of the Dragon Age games prior?
I have not. I've been more on the Mass Effect side. Okay. So, but I hear great things about Dragon Age.
Yeah. Now, wasn't there a new Dragon Age game announced like a year or two ago?
This is it. They changed the name.
Okay, because that was supposed to like what that was originally pitched as and what this is seem very different. Like,
which it probably is why we haven't heard anything about it in such a long time, is because they did the pivot.
Okay.
But yeah, that Dragon Age game, yeah, they said that they changed the name to the Veilguard, and I guess they must have changed the tone along with it.
Yeah, because I remember like seeing the what do they call it? The concept art, because that's all they showed when they announced it initially, was just like the name and then some concept art, and it looked very dark and like serious and whatever. Like, and then to see this, I'm like, this. Are we sure this is Dragon Age? It just feels like someone pretending to be Dragon Age. Like,
this looks a little too fun to be Dragon Age, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just weird, like based off of what the concept art was before. I was confused. I was like, is this
too much whimsy in this?
Same game? What is happening? But that makes sense. I didn't realize there was that shift. Starfield getting DLC.
Yeah.
How's that making? Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
All right, Starfield. Have fun, all 10 of you guys who are still playing Starfield.
Fallout 76 DLC. How's that?
Yay! Woo! Have fun, all 10 people who are still playing Fallout 76.
I was so hoping we were gonna get. I
saw that Vaultco logo, dude, and I saw those people at the little telethon thing, and I was like, "Oh, here we go, Fallout 3 remaster, baby! It's happening." Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't get the fascination with 76. Like, let's move on. Let's get the next thing, because from what I've heard, they've turned it around. It was a flop at the beginning. They've turned it around. It's a halfway decent game now. But man,
which is great.
I would even like you said, I would love either a remake of like 3 or New Vegas, or let's just move on to the next one. What's the next one? You know, like, give me something. Like, I don't know. 76 is just, I don't know. They just keep coming out with more stuff, and I guess people are playing it though. Like, especially after the show came out, they broke a bunch of records because all of a sudden people started playing it again. So, unfortunately, I don't think it's going anywhere for a while because of that.
No,
but
it couldn't hold my interest. I don't play Fallout games to play with other people. I play them to be my sole adventurer in whatever environment, whether it be the wasteland, New Vegas, anything. Right, that's just me.
Yeah,
making my way,
and to experience like the quirky characters in those worlds. And so, like, when I played at launch, and I know they've changed it since then, but at launch, the whole premise was it was only you and your friends. There were no NPCs. So it was like, okay, well, the whole fun of Fallout is like the dialogue trees, and you just took out the entire game mechanic that makes this game fun. You just deleted. You know, Control A, select all, delete. Just, all right, now you're just, the only people you can talk to is your friends. I'm like, well, I can't have a dialogue tree with my friend. When I say things, that's kind of it, They're
not going to let me pick what they say.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know I've added that since then, but man, yeah, I just wish we'd get something. Oh, well. But the next thing that was announced was something we already knew about, but we got to see a little tiny bit of gameplay and a little more story. South of Midnight.
Woo,
when
baby!
They first revealed this, was it last year at Summer Game Fest or was it Game Awards? I don't remember. We saw just like little like 20-second teaser with like the skeleton. Wasn't it like a skeleton dude like playing the banjo in the middle of the swamp? And I'm like, I am in. I love this. Like, this is right up my alley. Just lore, story, world building wise. I'm like, I'm in. Like, story wise, this sounds amazing. And then, dude, that animation style,
so good. It's a perfect mixture of trying to do like stop motion and still trying to do like modern animation at the same time.
Yeah,
it rules. That game is gorgeous.
The animation style of doing like very similar to like the Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse movies is a fantastic choice. I love that. But then I also love even the art direction of the characters has, like you said, almost like a very like clay kind of look to them. Like the faces and the different monsters, like they show like the giant catfish that she's riding around or whatever. I love that. So it's like, it has that kind of stop motion-y feel, like having like the every
I think it was 24 or 20.
It's not 24 because 24 that's a pretty standard like cinematic. That's what most movies are at. So it must be like slightly like 24 or 20 or like a little less. But
18.
Yeah, it's like this is an odd like frame rate that like makes it feel so like just a little off. But it works perfectly with the art direction. I love it. I love what they're doing, and I hope to see more. They say it's coming 2025. So
that's fine. Take all the time you need. I'll be here.
I just love that even the gameplay looked like that too. It wasn't even just in the cut scenes. It's like, oh, even when you're playing, it has that kind of like weird. So I'm just curious how that's gonna feel to play like that. Like, is it gonna like feel? I mean,
the world is in
feel laggy or
the world is in 60, so I wouldn't be surprised if it just bases the combat off of the 60 frames, and then your character still animates in 24 or 20, whatever it is.
Kitten says the game looks cool. Skeptical though, because We Happy Few was ... So okay, I didn't realize.
And that's also fair because We Happy Few when it first came out looked awesome too. And it was okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was just okay.
Yeah. We finally got a look at Perfect Dark. What are your thoughts on this? Because you have history with the franchise.
Right. And, dating back to the N64, I do have to put this disclaimer out because we're having the hashtag discourse again about women in women characters in games and about how the only people complaining about the way Joanna looks have never probably seen a real woman in real life. So, outside of having to deal with that, the premise of the game looks great. It looks just like, an evolution of the Perfect Dark formula. The shooting seems pretty tight. Again, I don't know if this is just a super duper vertical slice that they just needed something to show because I think I remember hearing reports from like Jeff Grubb that the game wasn't in the best shape right now. I mean, the
last rumor I remember hearing was even that it might have been canceled. So the fact that we saw anything was kind of surprising. Like, oh, okay, right. It's still kicking.
Right. So I'm hoping that this wasn't like a trailer that was thrown together to try to save face or anything like that. And I know people will say, "Oh, that's nefarious." It's like, well, companies have done worse.
Yeah. All right.
As far as the graphics are concerned, I think that was my real big issue, right? Because they are marketing this game, and even if they're like, "Oh, we didn't mean it like that," it's too late. They are marketing this game as like a quadruple A experience, like it's supposed to be even above, what your average AAA game is. But the problem with that is and just like when I talk about the graphics argument, where if you tout your graphics, I'm gonna pixel peep your graphics and ding you for it.
We as gamers generally, like you and I, aren't usually all up, like we don't care about the graphics, but if that's your selling point, we're going to care about the graphics. You're right. Like that's what you're getting at basically is like,
exactly.
Like, I don't care what your game looks like as long as it's like, if it's an art choice, an art direction, then great, whatever. But if that's your thing, you're dying on your hill, you're dying on. It's like, all right, you better bring it.
And then for them to say all that, about it, oh, it's a quadruple A game, and then I'm looking at it and I'm wondering, is there going to be a switch that flips and everything starts to go? Because there are games now that are out or games that have come out and they don't, and those games look better than Perfect Dark. Yeah. And I'm sitting here thinking, maybe it's just not finished yet. Like they haven't put the last touches or anything on it.
Oh, it's definitely not finished. There's no date at all. So this isn't coming for a long time, I would imagine.
Right. So it may very well, like I said, it may very well be, in alpha or beta, and that's fine. They didn't disclose that, I don't believe.
No.
But hopefully it comes out looking a lot, more higher fidelity than it does when it came in. But I'm looking like, man, like Last of Us 2. In certain areas looks better than this. And that was a PS4 game. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous about the overall package because great gameplay and graphics in a quadruple A package, you're heading for the middle of the road.
Yeah. Yeah, again, if that wasn't like the hill they're dying on, what they're trying to sell it as, then I wouldn't care. Because honestly, the gameplay and combat look incredible. Like that's what I was watching. I'm like, oh, it feels like you're almost like playing a John Wick. Like watching some of like the crazy moves she was doing and stuff, like the gun.
Yeah, I mean, in
gun fu type stuff. I've never played the N64 game, but I was like, oh my gosh, like this looks so slick. I love this, like the slow motion, like popping people, grabbing people, doing CQC stuff. Like, oh man, I'm in gameplay wise. But yeah, then to see like it's like, all right, but yeah, this is supposed to be, you know, yeah, like crazy graphics. That's what you're touting it as. The Xbox is supposed to be the most powerful console, and this game is supposed to like break barriers with graphics. And it's like, right now,
I should see smoke coming out of my Series X when I power this up. And like, I don't think that this game is going to do it in the shape it's in right now.
No, like the cinematic looked good, and then as soon as it went into actual gameplay, I'm like, oh, like what's going? Like, there's ray traced lighting, which is like, ooh, pretty, but then it's like, all right, you got the ray trace lighting, but then you look over at the bush she's standing next to, and it's like, oh, that looks like something you'd see from like a PS3 game, like the leaves like colliding with each other and kind of like, what is happening? Like, all right, like again, and we talk this way, and people are gonna be like, oh, like, who cares if it's a good game? It's a good game. Yeah, you're right. And you know what? If it's a good game, then it's a good game. We're gonna play it. We're gonna like it. But it all comes down to, in normal circumstances, it all comes down to, hey, if you're going to sell it a certain way, we're going to critique you in that way as well. You know, you need to be willing to take the critiques on the things that you're trying to sell it on. So that's all. Every other way, kind of, for such a small slice that we got, I'm like, okay, this game looks fun, but boy, the one thing is not there. But Kitten says, looks like a new Hitman series, kind of, which would be sick. Honestly, yeah, like bringing Hitman back in a different way, that'd be awesome. Not visually, but interactable world kind of thing. 100%. Yeah, Kitten's kind of nailed it there. It's looks like could be like a fun new first-person take on the Hitman series. That could be cool. Could be cool. Who knows when we'll see this? So I don't imagine we see anything from this game for like another 5 years. Like it'll probably be absolutely. This is a next gen console, right?
Yeah, that's you know what? I started noodling on that after a while when they didn't have any data. I'm like, this is coming to the next Xbox. It has to be.
This is like a launch title for Xbox, whatever is next. So
because if it's at least 2026, which is when I think that they're planning on releasing their next system.
That's the rumors with that one article we talked about. Yeah, 2026 or 7. Yeah.
So it's either going to be an exclusive or cross-gen, one of the two.
Yeah. Boy, if they really want to hit their selling point, though, better not be cross-gen. Better be on the new one, and better be using all 128
gigs of RAM,
exabytes or whatever.
Whatever is equivalent to probably what a 40. They're probably going to put a 4070 in it or 4060 in it.
Well, better be better.
Just do that.
It needs to be better than that. That's what the PCs have now. They need to have.
Yeah, but you know how consoles are. They're always behind. That's why I'm saying it'll probably have like a 4060, 4070 in it at the most. But make it work.
We'll see. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Oh, take it away. I know you've been waiting to talk about this.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
New gameplay trailer showing off all new graphics and 3D audio for the Big Boss prequel. While the PS2 classic story remains the same, the gameplay has been overhauled to drive home the themes of survival and stealth in a harsh wilderness. If you're craving an old school experience, fret not, because there'll be an option to switch to the original playstyle and control schemes as well. So they didn't show all that in the Xbox showcase. They just kind of showed a trailer, which looks sick, by the way. But then Konami the next day put out it's like 15 minutes long or so, or maybe more, like David Hayter presenting on his own. And then also he interviews what's his name? Why can't I remember his name? He's the guy like directing the new game, basically, since Kojima's out. If you don't mind looking up that name, because I should know it. But yeah, he sits down and interviews him. And basically they go into like, we are not touching the story. This story is going to be one for one the same, because we know that that's what you, the fans, want. We're not going to touch anything there. Like the vision that was there with the original team. And they even said a lot of the original team is working on the game. surprisingly.
Oh.
Like a lot of the original team is still at Konami, and so they're working on this game. So other than like not everyone obviously, and like not Kojima, but the guy who's currently kind of directing it or whatever, or leading it, he was there on the original team with Kojima, and then a lot of the developers too on the team. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, they're sticking to the same story. They've talked about, they mentioned it here in this article, but you can literally play either the new style where it's like over the shoulder, third person, like feels like a modern stealth game, or you can flip a switch and it goes right back to like the old camera view. The camera zooms up and goes to the old control scheme, everything. Same graphics, but with the PS2 style like control scheme and camera. And I'm like, oh baby, that sounds awesome. Like just to be able like at a whim switch back and forth. Like, all right, I'm feeling a little more like modern gaming. All right, now let's go back to the old feel. That's pretty cool. Something else that was mentioned in that Konami video the next day was that I don't know if it was just like it was scripted weird or if they meant it, but I think David Hayter says like something along the lines of most of the original voice actors are coming back.
Coming back? The dialogue's already recorded.
Well, yeah, I imagine I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that means that they re-recorded dialogue or what. But what I zeroed in on was the word most. I guess I'm just curious who wouldn't be coming back or who could they be changing. I don't know. I have no idea who or what. But
is anybody dead from the original cast?
I don't think so. Not that I know of, but I don't know for sure. I haven't done a bunch of research or anything, but yeah, I just thought that was it because I had the same thought. I'm like, well, so obviously either they're not using the original audio or they're only using bits of it and then re-recording other stuff just to kind of like a cleaner, like if they're trying to do 3D audio, cleaner, crisper, HD stuff like that. Yeah. Like they might want brand new stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how it comes together, but no release date though. That was a wild thing. At the end of the Xbox trailer, it just said it didn't even have a year. Nothing. Just Metal Gear Solid, Delta, Snake Eater, and then Fade to Black. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But
that's a 26er.
But the next day, so on Monday when Konami released that video, in their video they also announced a collector's edition, which I was ticked off because it sold out immediately. And by the time I heard about it, I was watching the video in the afternoon. I didn't even know the thing existed. It was all gone. But GameStop posted a tweet saying, hey, you want to pre-order the collector's edition? Check it out, blah, blah, blah. And posted a link to their site, and it had the date 11/25, November 25th, I think it was. And the last I checked, yeah. And the last I checked,
absolutely not.
The last I checked, the tweet was still up. I don't know if it still is. But dude, if there's a chance, that would be awesome. But I don't, or no, sorry, not 25, 11/17. Yeah, June 11th. And then, okay, they did delete it, and it now deleted post because it was there like most of the day yesterday. And then it says it was, yeah, now it's according to GameSpot here, it's been deleted. But yeah, coming 11/17. So that's the only place that a date has shown up. It seems wild to choose that. Although I guess apparently that's also the release. That's also the release date of the original Metal Gear Solid 3. So maybe someone at GameStop was just like, oh yeah, maybe they'll release on the same day. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited about this game. This is my least favorite Metal Gear game.
That could change.
Like I think like 2 and 1 are pretty close, pretty much 1. But I think I'd probably give it like Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 1, 4, and then 3. You know, like I'm not a fan of Big Boss. But this could change it. I don't know. Is that what I need? Is just a fresh new coat of paint, or is because my main gripes with 3 is more the character. Like, I don't know. From what it sounds like, they're not changing the character. They're not changing the story. So maybe.
Okay.
So maybe it won't affect it, but
maybe your curiosity, just wanting to see what it looks like, will carry you through.
Oh, 100%. No, this game is still a game I'm going to 100% play, and I'm going to love it. Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't hate Metal Gear Solid 3. I just didn't like Big Boss as a character. So I'm very excited about this. It is visually stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. Cannot wait. That leads to another game here we've been waiting on for a long time. It's Fable. You have a little more experience with Fable. So if you want to talk about this, but the trailer was fantastic.
Wonderful. It was such a good trailer. I love the way that they set up the premise. Is you're basically the apprentice of a retired, well-known, super famous hero, and you're out there now on your own trying to make a name for yourself to be your own hero. And some of the shots of the character walking through like the woods or town or anything like that, just mind-blowing how good some of that looks. You know, how they were able to pull that off. And then we got a little clip of combat, which looks just like Fable 1 combat, Fable 2 combat, you know, in that same vein. I was not going to say exactly like, because it was, 20 some odd years ago. And of course, combat systems have evolved since then. But yeah, no, I mean, this game, it looks like it's going to be a winner, if anything.
Yeah.
It seems like Playgrounds knows what they're doing, which is really, really interesting to me, because you always feel like their wheelhouse is what do they do? The Horizon games, the Forza Horizon?
I think so.
Because Turn 10 does regular Forza.
Right. Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah.
Yeah, man, this project's got some promise, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've never played any of the previous Fable games, and so with this one coming out, I'm like, all right, it's my chance. I'm excited. Known for Forza Horizon, so it'll be interesting to see them dive into
utilizing those technologies.
It looks gorgeous too, graphically, story-wise. I don't know. I love the humor. This could be up my alley. There, it looks pretty fun.
They're all like that.
It's awesome.
Garrett, before you go any further,
I
think this is a good spot to tell people about our Patreon.
Okay, well, let's do it. Let's go to our Patreon ad.
Let's do it.
All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right. $1 gets you episodes early and ad-free all month long. You can get shows such as this show, get Super Later Boys, our Patreon exclusive show. Help support the show that way. We appreciate it. $1 a month. We also have our $5 a month tier. You can support us at $5 a month to get the previous perks, early and ad-free episodes, and you get show notes to the episodes that we're going to be recording upcoming. So you can see exactly what we're talking about, and you can leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, everything right there on the doc. So if you have thoughts on the news stories or on the listener questions or game you've been playing that you want to share your thoughts on, go ahead and support us at that $5 a month level, and you can see the show notes all month long, dropping your thoughts on there, get them read here on the show. If you want your voice heard, think about supporting us at that $5 a month level. $10 a month, you can be a Super Gamer sponsor, and you get all the previous perks and a big old shout out at the top of the show. And then the top dog tier, Patreon producer, $15 a month. You get those previous perks and the ability to pitch us a segment for the show. That's right. If you have an idea, support us at $15 a month and send that segment over. What would you like to torture us with? It doesn't have to be torture. It can be fun. One caveat with this one, I would recommend if you have an idea, run it by us before you support us. So far, we're, every time someone's pitched us a segment, we've done it. We've given the old college try, but I would just hate for you to support us and then not get the segment and be like, we're not doing that. But so far, we've done everything people have thrown at us, and it's been a blast. From losing reviews, reviewing bad movies, to even I'm trying to think. Oh, Adrian did Super Indie Boys back then when he was a Patreon producer. Kajoma has pitched us quite a few segments, from his Kajoma Card Game Corner that we ran on social media for a bit to what was it? Tall Tales with JJ, which didn't last long, but boy, was it a wild ride. So yeah, if you got some ideas for fun little show segments, think about pitching those ideas to us. Support us at that $15 a month level, and then yeah, we'll give it a shot there. It's always a fun time. Yeah, so that's it. Patreon.com/Super Gamer Boy supports over there. Again, starting at $1 a month on that lowest tier, gets the episodes early and free, and helps a lot. And yeah, thank you to all of you who do support us over there. That is what helps keep the lights on, the mics going, and host all the back end stuff. There's a lot more hosting fees than you'd realize. And other little things, whether it's buying new gear, equipment, or actually talking about this next way you can support us. That also costs money. It costs money to make merch, surprisingly. And we're looking to make some new merch for you guys this summer. We've been teasing it for a while. It's getting so close. We were hoping to have it out early June here, but with things timing out how they are, it might be late June/early July. So stay tuned to sgbstore.com. I think if you go there right now, it just says coming soon. It is down, but just to kind of rattle off some of the things we had previous, so when it does come back, look forward to being able to buy our Super Gamer Boys t-shirts. We got hats, we got stickers, we got coffee mugs, we got all this stuff with our classic logo. And then, like I said, hopefully soon, maybe soon, there'll be some new stuff up there, and you can look forward to that, sgbstore.com. Last but not least, subscribe on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link that to your Twitch account and use your free Prime Gaming sub each and every month. You have access to that. It's free to you. It gives us $5. So if that's just laying around right now, think about dropping on our channel over at twitch.tv/SuperGamerBoys. We'd very much appreciate that. Helps, again, keep this channel running, and also gives you the perks of ad-free viewing on Twitch and access to our emotes. So if you want to be able to use our emotes across Twitch and not have to watch ads whenever you watch our streams, drop that free sub over on our channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and then you look at all the fun stuff you get out of it, and you help our channel. We get $5 out of the deal. So think about it. Drop that Prime Gaming sub over here. We'd appreciate it. All right, with that, let's get back to the show. Alrighty, we are back from that little ad break, and we're just about through the Xbox Game Show here. There's a couple more things I think it's worth highlighting, but boy, oh boy, this next one here, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is an Adrian game. Like, I immediately was like, he's gonna love this. And I was watching your reaction on stream, and you were just like, oh man, this is 100% right up my alley. Made by the studio behind The Artful Escape.
Oh baby, I already know where you're going.
That is the game called Mixtape.
Yes.
This game just it looks incredible. I don't know, you can talk about it, because this is like I said, this is up your alley. This is an Adrian game right here.
Oh man. Yeah, so like you said, this is Beethoven and Dinosaur. They made The Artful Escape, which was the year it came out, one of my top 3 games of the year. I absolutely adore The Artful Escape. So I'm glad to finally see that they're announcing their next project. It's not coming until next year, unfortunately, but at least we have, eyes and ears on it, and we can see what we're dealing with. So it seems like, and I don't mean to boil it down, but for trying to categorizing sake or explanation sake, it seems as if it's this studio's attempt to make a John Hughes movie. So like The Breakfast Club, your coming of age young people movie
100%.
is kind of like that, except it's in game form and it's based around music instead of like whatever other form that the
soundtrack
cast would use to come together. And the soundtrack
featuring full music from Devo, the Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop, Susie,
the Banshees,
Joy Division, and more. That makes the game sound cool.
Yes.
Here.
Again, that's all icing on the cake. So they write very well, and I'm definitely interested to see how they're gonna do an ensemble cast. In the Artful Escape, you did come across other characters, but it was always just you. And I think that this is gonna be a group that's gonna be together a lot throughout the course of whatever game this is. So I'm interested to see how their back and forth dynamic is gonna be.
Yeah.
I have nothing but faith in this game. Like I said, Beethoven and Dinosaur, I don't think they've done a lot. I think Artful Escape was their first game and it was an absolute banger. So if this one comes out and it's a banger as well, then that they are going to definitely be a studio to watch. But yeah, this looks awesome. Art style looks great. Sounds great. Studio's great. Put it on your list.
Heck yeah. I think so. The only other thing that really stood out to me, if there's anything else you want to talk about, we can talk
indie.
About it. Yeah, indie. It's just more indie.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that.
If you want to talk about, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. If you want to talk about something else,
it's a big tentpole Xbox title. I just figured we would mention it. Indiana Jones is there. It looks really good. Only thing that I don't like is that it's Troy Baker, and I can hear Troy Baker doing a Harrison Ford impression, even though everybody on the internet swears up and down he sounds just like Harrison 100% of the time, which is not the case.
Like 84%
every
of the
blue
time.
moon.
Yeah,
I was gonna say every blue moon he does do a line that I'm like, man, you nailed that. It sounded just like him. But like 80% of the rest of the time, it's just I can tell it's him doing a Harrison Ford impression, and it's just like, all right, dude, we couldn't have got anybody else. Maybe somebody's voice I don't recognize because they're in every other game ever as a lead actor.
Who's that dude who can do the really good Harrison? Like he always did the Han Solo impressions. Like, get that dude.
Oh, Anthony Ingruber, I think his name is.
Why isn't he doing this?
I have no idea, but he is spot on.
Right?
And he may do a good impression, but maybe he can't act. I don't know. But yeah, the game looks great. It looks like you're playing a literal Indiana Jones movie. The music sounds so good. I think I asked while I was in there, I'm like, is John Williams doing the music for this game? Because you could have fooled me and said that he was.
Yeah, it's not. It's someone else. I forget what his name was, but
right.
Yeah, it was a new, a different person, obviously taking heavy inspiration from John Williams and trying to really capture that essence. But yeah, not John Williams. I was surprised. Indiana Jones. I was gonna look it up actually real quick and see because I would be good to.
Who the new composer is? It sounds great. It was so good. And I figured, if they're doing a production of this scale, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought John back. But
yeah, it's Gordy Hobb, who's known for some other video games. They actually did the Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings game back in 2009. So they've done an Indiana Jones game before.
So they've got history.
Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Okay.
Star Wars Battlefront, Halo Wars 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Squadron, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So lots of Star Wars. Okay. Basically stuff that John Williams has done. Like he's done.
Right.
He's the backup John Williams, basically.
And when they can't get him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this guy's got it. He knows the style. Oh man. Kitten says John Williams getting kind of old, to be honest. Let the poor guy retire.
Man, Kittens, check it out. There's two scenarios that's going on with John Williams, right? The first one's got to be either he loves doing this so much that he doesn't want to retire. That's the only one of the only things that makes sense. And the other thing is the bags and trailers and cruise ships full of money that they must bring up to that man's doorstep have to be so big that it would not make sense for him to turn them down. Those are the only two reasons that he's still doing stuff today. He has nothing to prove.
92 years old.
He has zero to prove. So it's got to be one of those two for it to make logical sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Indy looks great. I'm obviously gonna play it. Like I'm gonna complain about Troy the whole way through, but I'm gonna play it. So
yeah, it does look great. It looks good. We got Avowed gameplay, a brand new story trailer for Avowed. It's centered around Yate, one of the game's 4 companions, and your place in the story as an envoy of an Adrian empire. You'll be tasked with stopping the Dream Scourge and exploring the frontier.
Which I didn't need. I was gonna play it anyway. It's nice to see it. I was gonna play it anyway.
Totally. Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah. I was already in.
Also, it's a crime that they haven't made that poster into a shirt yet. The one with the skeleton that's like half plant and monster, half knight, half whatever.
That would be sick. That would be sick shirt. I also just want a big old poster of that on my wall. Like imagine it's a big mural on my wall. It's just such cool art. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 100% in on Avowed. Like that still looks super fun.
Let's do it. Let's get to the Megaton.
The one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
The one more thing at the Xbox Game Showcase was Gears of War E-Day. Absolutely wild. It's a mad world in the next mainline game in the Gears of War universe, full of familiar faces and worn out places, but at least you can rely on Marcus Phoenix to know how to put the Locust 6 feet under. Set 14 years before the first game, Gears of War E-Day will focus on the emergence of the Locust Horde and humanity's desperate struggle for survival.
I didn't know it was that long between E-Day and the first game.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus looks a lot younger in this game.
Very young.
He looks very young.
Him and Dom look extremely young.
I mean, honestly, though, like with how rough and tough life is with the Locust being around, you could have said it was 6 months and I would have believed you too. 14 years of dealing with these boogers. And let me tell you, though, so prequel game, man, when the second, like the Locust, because that's how it starts, right? It's kind of like the camera's pointing at a door and then they just bust in through a door. The second it's like you see the Locust, you see Marcus, you're like, oh baby, Gears, we're back. And
mine was different because it started in a room and then it showed a TV that had a Gear symbol on it. That's how I knew it was Gears. The one that Marcus throws at the Locust.
Well, yeah, you're just smarter than me. I didn't notice the gear on the TV.
Oh, okay. My bad.
You're right. That's how it starts. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. But it was the moment when all of a sudden they burst into the room, like bust through a door and start fighting. I'm like, no way. Oh my gosh. Like I was like losing it. And boy, yeah, we don't know much about this game other than kind of like the general time period, but what a fun return. I've been off of Gears for a little bit. Like I didn't play 4 or 5. I played a little bit of 5. I played 1 through 3, loved them. Didn't get 4 because that one was on Xbox One. I didn't have an Xbox One.
That's fair. It's on Game Pass now though.
But 5 came out. I think 5 also came out on Xbox One, but I had Game Pass at that point. Is when Game Pass just came out. Like it was like it was one of the few games on Game Pass. Like Game Pass had just kind of got started, and they're like, we're putting Gears 5 on there. And I started Gears 5 for some reason without playing 4, and I was
completely
like, okay.
lost.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this is fine. I don't understand what's happening. And so I never finished it. But so that's after I saw this trailer, I think I tweeted out like, I've been off of Gears for a while, but this might get me back in because boy, I miss the old crew. Some good times.
Some eagle-eyed people were thinking, or somebody had the theory, is this a chess play, do you think? Like, do you think this is a pseudo stealth reboot for Gears?
I saw that going around as well. Yeah, people thinking it could be like a full reboot of the series. I don't know. I think they'd be crazy to do that because those games are.
I think they're gonna do this continuity. They're gonna do 6, and then call it. And then I think as far as like the timeline for the full Gears franchise, right? And I think they'll do this one, and I think they'll remake 1, and I think they'll call it a day.
So
because we got Gears remastered before, but a full-on from the ground up Unreal 5 remake might be nuts.
So you think though they'll do like if they remake then that they you think they're gonna remake the whole series? They're just gonna keep going through and like remaking all the games? Because I don't know, I just feel like
no, I think they're gonna do 1. I think they're gonna do this one and then 1 and then gauge interest. I think we might have, and then if they keep going, we might have a Final Fantasy VII remake situation going on where they start to change elements of the story because it's a full-on like they're redoing it.
I mean, they could, but I just don't think they have to. Like those stories are already so incredible.
They are, but you know,
like gameplay wise, don't get me wrong. Gameplay wise, I know there's like slow, rough segments. Like it's not like the best thing ever. But also, I don't know.
I like 5, contrary to popular opinion, and I think that's the thing is everybody. Not everybody, of course, because the internet is not. It's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the actual user base, but the consensus online is that the new trilogy isn't that great, but I beg to differ. I had a pretty good time with 4. I thought 5 was really good, and I'm interested to see what 6 does, but I don't know. Maybe that's the coalition letting all the online talk get to them and kind of doing that as a last ditch effort.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm really excited about this. So yeah, like I said, it's been a while since I've been in the Gears world. So I'm like, okay, I'm excited about this. Real quick here, actually, I just Googled Gears of War on Google, and it showed this article by Stephen Totillo. It says, new, I spoke with the coalition about Gears of War E-Day. It's set in the city of Kelowna, using Unreal Engine 5 to rip the city apart. Game will be linear, no shift to open world, heavy themes. More at the link. They want me to pay to read this article, but that sounds cool. That sounds awesome. I'm glad it's not going open world, because I feel like so many games are trying to do that shift. It's like, no, let's keep it linear, like the classic Gears of War. I like that.
5 did a little bit. It kind of played with open world a little bit. It played with
it, and I think that's what lost me too. Like not only did I not know what the story is, because I didn't play 4, but like all of a sudden they're like, okay, find your way through this area. I'm like, I'm lost. Like I don't know. I felt like they didn't do a great job with it. But maybe I'm just an idiot. Yeah, so that was a game showcase. I guess they also announced new Xbox Series consoles, even though they keep talking about how they're not selling consoles, and they're talking
let's make some more.
They're talking about moving on to the next gen sooner or later. They're also like, oh, also we made 3 new consoles, please buy them.
And none of them are less expensive by a whole lot, maybe like $50 less.
Yeah, so there's an all digital Xbox Series S in white with 1 terabyte hard drive. There's an all digital Xbox Series X 1 terabyte in white, which looks sick. And then special edition Xbox Series X 2 terabyte Galaxy Black. It's like black.
$600.
Is it? Okay, I didn't see any of the prices. That's wild. So wait, the all digital Series X isn't any cheaper?
It's like $50 cheaper. It's like $449.
That's wild.
Which is dumb. It should have been $399.
Yeah. This is off topic a little bit. I saw PlayStation was having a sale. I got this ad on Instagram. They're like, hey, buy our consoles right now on sale, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, buy our PS5 digital version for $399. I'm like, on sale for $399? I'm like, excuse me. I bought mine brand new for $399.
It's $450. It's $450 now, remember?
I know.
So that is a sale.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. How stupid is that? How stupid is that they jack up their prices so now they can say it's on sale at $399, when in reality, like a year and a half ago, that was the price. That was the price of the PlayStation. How like shady can
but
you
Garrett,
be, Sony?
the market, they
No.
say the market makes them put the prices up.
That's like me. Imagine if you went to, I don't know, go buy toothpaste at Target or something, and they're like, it's on sale for $5 for this tube, and you're like, wait a second, it was $5 like 2 weeks ago. Why are you saying now it's on sale? Like, oh, well, now it's $10
Now
for the
it's-
tube,
yeah.
but it's off 50% off. Get it for $5. It's like, what the heck? Like, no, what? That doesn't make any sense. It's not on sale. It's just the same
I'm
price.
being taken advantage of.
Yeah, no, it's so stupid. I hate it. Anyways, not Xbox related, but yeah. So Xbox coming out with new consoles. Go buy them. They're not any cheaper, but they look cool.
They look sick.
They look really cool. Xbox Showcase. I give it.
I'm gonna say a high B, low A.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, this is like B plus A minus territory, where this is pretty killer. Some good as far as like AAA stuff to look forward to. We already know like across the board, like all the indie stuff we saw was like A tier, pretty much. Like those were like incredible showcases, but.
And I think my B would be because they didn't give a whole lot of dates.
Yeah, not a whole lot of dates.
Not necessarily specific dates, but like, okay, it's 2025, like first quarter of 2025, second quarter 2025. And I know they're gun shy after that whole thing, that debacle they had where they're like, everything coming out in this Xbox Showcase is coming out in the next 6 months. And then nothing came out in the next 6 months. So I get it.
Yeah.
But I also don't want you to be cowards and just try it again. Just do it.
Right. Totally. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes out and when. It'll be interesting. But yeah. Xbox Game Showcase. Very good. You should go check it out. Adrian React to do it over at youtube.com/SuperGamerBoys. Cool. Oh, yeah, this is a long episode. I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's 11:07
Well, we made it.
p.m.
I'm going straight to bed. I can tell you that right now.
Have fun. I gotta edit this and get it up. Thank you all so much for listening and watching this. We appreciate each and every one of you. It's a good time. Good time for video games. Kitten says, dude, so many games got announced. 100%. Like we just kind of shouted out the ones we were most excited for, the tentpole games that we felt like needed to be mentioned, but there's so many more.
Just
go watch
tons.
If anything that we said today interested you, go watch our showcases where we react, because there's probably going to be even more that speaks to you. Or at the very least, you get to see the cool stuff we got to see. So thank you all so much for watching. So thanks so much for listening and hanging out. We appreciate each and every one of you. You are all so fantastic. If you want to help support us, if you love what we do, want to throw us some cash, patreon.com/supergamerboys, supports that starting at $1 a month all the way up to $15 a month, 4 different tiers, or whatever your budget is and whatever type of perks you're looking for. Think about it. We'd really, really, really appreciate that, especially in this time where things cost money, and at the moment I'm still unemployed. So please help us. Please support Super Gamer Boys, because we love doing this, and we hope you love us doing this as well. You can also support us, hopefully coming soon, over at sgbstore.com. You should bookmark that page, because right now it just says a big old coming soon. But when it does come, oh boy, is it gonna come. It's gonna be have some sweet merch there. So keep your eyes peeled, sgbstore.com. Rate and review us where you can. Apple Music, Spotify, we very much appreciate that. Shout out to Jack Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. Right now, you've been listening to DJ Trooz for this episode. So check out his stuff over on Apple Music and Spotify. You can find us during the week over at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere on the internet at Homeboy.
All right, and that's all I got, Adrian. So would you mind taking us out, please?
Not a problem. You pretty much wrapped it up very nicely. I'm just going to put the bow on there. Folks, thank you for hanging out with us for another episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. That wasn't a full episode, but kind of is still.
It's a super. It's
we
a,
had
it's
a great.
It's like the supersized the supersized anti episode. We kept saying it's not an episode, but here we talked for like 2 hours. So
it's a what is it? What do they call them? Oh, it's a filler episode.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's a filler episode with not filler content because it's something that's very important in the industry. We had a ball going over this Summer Game Fest weekend of content. All our live reactions are up on the internet, like Garrett said. If you want to go back and take a look, we greatly appreciate it. And let us know what you thought about the showcases. Did anything stand out to you? Are you looking forward to anything? Are we crazy for not talking about something that you wanted us to talk about? Let us know, either here in our Discord, Super Gamer Boys Discord, or on social media. And with that, we bid you adieu. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Video games are cool, man.
Video games are cool.